Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 10. We've hit double digits of Red Green Junior TV. So nice to see you all here in chat. You guys are all talking away once again. The chat's popping off as usual before we even get going. Nice to see everybody here. Red Green 82, how's it going, man? Jordan, nice to see you. Rassalon, hello, how are you? Nice to see you. Good evening, or I guess it's probably good morning where you are right now, Ras, I suppose. The Ferb Guy, how's it going? Harris93, how are you? Fanatic of Racing, how are you? Obi-Wan Overmon, nice to see you. Gurgluck, once again, answered the call of the opossum. Nice to see you. Creative Mode PS4, what's going on? Thaddeus 1000, Paladin Frost, Saints Angel, how are you? Graphics, how's it going? Zero Cool, you've come to the right channel, Zero Cool, believe me. Nice to see you. Ghost Guy, how are you? De Facto Derek, nice to see you. Missed Tuesday, but you're back for Wednesday. We'll forgive you, De Facto. We'll forgive you. Moonby8, how are you? Terror Van, what's up? Richard, not quite Nixon, but close. Welcome. Crookery, how are you? Herobrine's Army, what's going on? Yamp44, how are you doing? Damo Music, nice to see you. How's everybody doing tonight? It's a pleasure to be hanging out with you guys again. We got season 6, episode 1 coming up tonight. I'm very excited. It's a great season, and in my opinion, a great episode. And we got lots to talk about before that. We got some announcements to make. Just want to give out some kind of reminders about the stream and stuff like that. If you're here tonight for the first time, maybe you haven't been on Twitch before, or you haven't been on our channel before, especially want to say a big welcome to you. Thank you for stopping in and checking it out. Think of this kind of like watching an episode of the Red Green Show with the director's commentary on. Instead of having a director talk, it's me. My name is Dave Smith. I am Steve Smith, who is Red Green on the show. I am his son, and I worked on the show for many years in kind of different capacities. Ended up being a writer for the last few seasons as well. So I just kind of talk during the episode and try to hopefully be interesting for you and add a little bit of value to a show that you already probably love. If you just found us on Twitch because you're just looking around at the creative section and you're wondering what Red Green even is, I hope you stick around and watch it and enjoy it as much as we do. If you're watching this and you think, I don't want to hear Dave talk anymore, I just want to watch the episodes, you can always go over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/redgreentv, and you can just watch episodes of the show without me bugging you to your heart's content. Air Swell and Chill, good stuff. Good stuff. Starting at 92 viewers. I know, Rassalon. What's going on? People are tuning in. It's fantastic. All right, before we get to our announcements and more chatting and answering questions and all that good stuff, again, if you have a question, please put it in chat. Love to talk to you guys and answer your questions and so on. We're going to, I think, call this meeting first into order. So if you know the actions, please follow along at home.
All right.
Quando, Omni, Flunkus,
Moritati.
And if you could all bow your heads for the man's prayer.
I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess.
Okay, and we are officially in session. Noli, how are you doing, Noli? Nice to see you. What station were you on the longest, Noli says? I'm not sure about PBS stations, Noli, in terms of what we're on the longest. I have something to show tonight that might shed a bit of light on that, but in terms of Canadian stations, our longest run was on CBC. So this is season 6, so next season is season 7, and season 7 is our first season on CBC, and we were on there from season 7 to season 15. So it was CHCH for the first 2 years, and then CFPL, I think it was called, in London for a year, and then we were on Global for 2 years, and then CBC for the rest of them. So CBC was our longest running stint for sure. Okay, a couple announcements. One thing I wanted to note as well, some of you guys, it's still happening, people are coming to the stream, which is great, and you're trying to watch us live and interact in chat, but for some reason when you come to the page, sometimes it sticks you in a VOD a pre-recorded video, a stream that we did yesterday or last week. And you guys are trying to interact with that. Red Green 82, Jordan, thank you very much for the subscription. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Any other subscribers, Possum Lodge members in chat tonight? Go ahead and spam those red green emotes so that Red Green 82 can feel all taped up and loved. Welcome to the lodge. So nice to have you. Yeah, so some people are getting caught in VODs and putting comments in thinking it's interactive, and really they're watching an old video. So if you notice tonight and the last few streams, I've been putting the date in the subject line of the stream. So if you ever come here thinking you're watching something live, make sure you look at the title and that it's today's date. Because if you're watching something from a previous date, that's a little tip that this is probably not a live thing that you're watching. Jake Straw Walker says, you ought to compile the Dave Smith parts of Wednesdays for a Red Green Jr. YouTube channel for those who have seen the Red Green program itself. Jake Straw, we've been posting every Wednesday night VOD. We've been putting those on YouTube as well in like a Twitch stream section of the main YouTube channel. And people over there have been enjoying it, giving it thumbs up. We have the occasional person who's like, I don't know why this bald guy keeps interrupting the episode. I just want to watch it. But by and large, people over on YouTube are enjoying it. And we're kind of keep putting these Wednesday nights up on there for now. Because we like our YouTube folks to enjoy it as well. Chrome, you got a notification tonight that I was live, but weren't yet actually. I start the stream 10 minutes early, and I do that 10-minute countdown. So is that what you got? Did you come and there was a countdown? Because that sometimes throws people off. I just want to give people time to kind of get into the channel. Okay, so that's one thing. I've been adding the dates to the subject lines of all the streams, so hopefully that'll help us not get caught in those VODs. Also, you see in chat people using these commands, ! Commands. Play around with those. Please talk in chat while you're here. That's kind of the point of doing these. Please feel free to interact with me and with each other, and the commands are one way to do that. So you can type an ! And a word, and as long as it's a command that we've preloaded, Nightbot will then spit out a preloaded response, and it's kind of a fun way to interact with the episode and interact with each other. Bearskin Rug says, I enjoy your commentary. It is insightful. Thank you, Bearskin. I will hold on to that when I read any negative YouTube comments. I will hold on to that. Appreciate that. Also, if you are a Twitch Prime subscriber, many of you are, if you have Amazon Prime, you've loaded that onto your Twitch account. Amazon owns Twitch, so that gives you a Twitch Prime account. And then you can subscribe to a channel for free, one channel a month with Twitch Prime. If you've done that with us, thank you so much for using your free sub on this channel. But please know that it does not re-up automatically at the end of the month. So if you did it more than a month ago, you have to click it again to re-up it on our channel. So you don't have to subscribe to us at all, and you certainly don't have to use your free Twitch Prime sub on us. But if you want to, please know that it won't do it automatically. That's something that you have to do. Beyond Human asking about hindsight is 2020. Yeah, our plan here on this channel is to, especially with the Wednesday nights, to try to offer you guys things that that maybe you can't see on YouTube or other places. And so specials, things like Hindsight is 2020, other older videos that we've done. As I said, my dad has toured. He's done a few tours now in character. We'd love to be able to show those specials on here as well. Kind of content that isn't necessarily just episodes. Red Green Story, Ferb Guy, all that kind of stuff. That's definitely, that stuff is in the works. So stay tuned for that. Okay, it is time for...
It's mail call.
Mail call. Thank you so much. So many of you have been sending in awesome fan stuff. And, it wouldn't be the same without you guys. Thank you for sending me stuff. If you have anything for me, please email me, redgreenjuniortv@gmail.com, or send it to us on Facebook, or you can tweet me as well. Hey, Mike, join the lodge. Thank you very much for the subscription. Appreciate that. Welcome to membership here at Red Green Junior TV and Possum Lodge. Feel free to spam those red green tape emotes as well. Okay, the first picture was sent to me, but I didn't write down whose name it was, so I apologize. If you're in chat tonight and you sent this picture to me, please let me know. It is a model. I guess this person saw a week or two ago, I posted a different model someone made of the van, and they sent this in, and it looks like, by the little caption there, that someone made this at their house and entered it into like a contest. Now, it didn't have a scale on it, but I'm thinking this, it looks to me almost like a D&D model. Like that's kind of the size of it. So that got me thinking, if Red Green was a D&D character, what class would he be? Because is Red a wizard, or is there like a tinkerer or something? It's got to be something that would fit, right? But anyways, thank you, anonymous person, for sending me in the Dungeons and Duct Tape. Good one, Regitrek. I like what you did there. Yeah, so that's inspired me. Have to somehow work that into my Game of Thrones D&D campaign. That's going to be tough. Next up, this was sent in by Steve. Steve says his friend took this picture from the road. So that must be out the passenger window of Steve's friend's car. And you can see copious amounts of tape on this car. I'm glad, Steve, if you're here, that your buddy was beside this car and not behind it, because that would probably be pretty sketchy. But I guess when your station wagon just isn't quite big enough, you have to manually add a little bit of an extension there. But it looks pretty streamlined, It's looking pretty good. Good job. So thank you for sending that in, Steve. I appreciate it. Damo, you think he'd be a rogue? I like that, rogue. I like that. What about Harold? Maybe he's a wizard or something. Noli, are there ringtones? Yes, there are. If you go to our online store, redgreenshop.com, you can buy all sorts of ringtones for your phone, sound clips from the show. Okay, William sent this into me via email. It's a picture of two younger fellows. One of them has a cell phone with, it's been duct taped to his hand. And it says, I kept dropping my phone. As you can see, my parents think duct tape is the answer to everything. And William sent a little note with it and said, after I sent it, I thought of you and your brother Max being treated for injuries by your dad. People sometimes imagine my house was just duct tape was on everything. I got to tell you, William, my dad never treated an injury of mine. Not one time. So, yeah, that would be my mom. But thank you for bringing up that old pain. Appreciate that. No, but thank you for the picture. Appreciate it, William. Thank you. Next up, this is from Wallace. This was sent in via Facebook. And, I have a pegboard in my basement with tools on it. Lots of tools. And I don't know what many of those tools do. And I'm not always sure what tool to use at any given particular job. And so Wallace sent this in. And I thought this was just a fantastic kind of flow chart for knowing exactly what tool to need, what tool you might need. So it's an engineering flow chart. Does it move? No. Should it? Yes. WD-40. Does it move? Yes. Should it? No. Duct tape. Otherwise, no problem. You guys think he'd be a bard? Ooh, yeah, he could be a bard. Weave that acoustic guitar spells. I like that. Yeah, definitely could be. This one is sent in by Al. Al sent us this again on Facebook. It's quite something. The caption says, for when it gets real. I repeat, when it gets real. This is a PG stream. So yeah, you can see the regular strength plunger down there, and then the ultra souped up red-green pogo stick plunger. I don't know if Pappy is in chat tonight or not, but this would be the Taco Tuesday plunger, I would say. So thank you, Al. It just got real. Next, this was sent in by Rickubus, our very own here in chat. Rickubus sent this out. This is a time that he actually met my dad, Steve Smith, aka Red Green, by accident. He says, I went into the Bearings hardware store off Bissonnet Street in Houston, and there was Red Green. I had no idea he'd be in Houston, and not in the store right there in front of me, so I was surprised. I was so happy to meet him. The Red Green Show gave me years of good-natured humor and entertainment. And that's a sweet shirt, Rickybus, as well. Walk softly and carry big teeth. Very nice. But how cool is that? That's very cool you got to meet him and hang out. I can tell you guys, if you ever meet Steve Smith in person, ever meet Red, if you go up to him, what he loves the best is if you say, I'm a big, big fan of the show. I love the Red and Green show. He loves that. Loves it when people say they're a huge fan and then they say the name of the show wrong. It's like his favorite thing. Rick, you took that picture of the gator yourself? That's friggin' awesome. Wow. That's really crazy, man. Nice. Thank you for sending it in. Appreciate it. All right, and next up again in chat tonight, Red Green 82 sent this picture in. He made this up. I don't know if you guys have been experiencing some of the weather we've been having the last week or so up here, well, at least in Canada or where we are in Ontario. Rick did a slight Jordan did a slight adjustment to our to our normal poems, because that is the garb we're wearing right now for spring, right? We're enjoying that. It is spring, for crying out loud. And then this was sent in by Harris, who sent us some pretty good dandies the last couple weeks. Harris from Oklahoma. Nice to see you in chat, Harris. He said, I found a new paint job for Winston's truck. Thank you for that image, Harris. I'll never be able to get that out of my mind. Appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, I think that would look pretty sweet on Winston's truck, though. You just got to wear exactly the right colored green shirt, and you're good. You're good to go, right? Yeah. So once again, thank you, folks, for sending in your pictures. Remember, Facebook. You can send it to me via email. You can send it to me on Twitter at Red Green Junior TV. We're happy to show, how you're experiencing sort of Possum Lodge life out in the real world, to come here and share it with one another. So thank you very much. Yeah, Jake Straw, you can't unsee that. I had to see it, so I like to share that with all of you as well. Okay, so tonight we're on Season 6, Episode 1. If you guys have been kind of paying attention the last couple of weeks, you know that the show, behind the scenes, the show has been in some turmoil. It was canceled after Season 2. After Season 3, it was sort of dropped again. Season 4, we had to pay for the time, our episode time on Global. We ended up not selling advertisements, enough ads for it to pay for the slot. My dad ended up taking out a second mortgage on his house to make ends meet and to pay Global for the time on the air. Well, Seasons 5 and Season 6, which we're getting to tonight, were sort of the final kind of calmness. We kind of finally hit our stride in terms of having a Canadian broadcaster home. Global ponied up Season 5 and then renewed for Season 6. And it was kind of maybe the first time between seasons that my dad could take a breath and feel like this was going to be okay. So that's kind of nice. Another thing that was starting to happen was PBS was starting to take off with the show as well. Some sales had been made, I think, a couple seasons before, but it was really starting to pick up steam. And my dad started to tour. Some of you who are here from PBS stations, maybe you were watching in the mid or late 90s, you may have seen my dad originally coming to local stations. He would travel and go to stations and do pledge-a-thons at the local stations. And after doing that a couple times, he decided in 1996, which is when this season was happening, that instead of him traveling around and going to all these different stations to raise money, what if we did one live 2-hour event and have the stations actually all show it at the same time and compete against each other for raising money for the show. And my dad somehow, and my uncle was on board now full-time as an executive producer. My Uncle Dave was my dad's older brother. He wasn't there at the start of the Red Green Show, but a couple seasons in, he came on as kind of a business guy. And my uncle and my dad sort of got things going and convinced these PBS stations, let's do this live via satellite 2-hour thing. So that happened March 8th, 1997 was the first time they did a live special. And my dad actually sent me, this is the kind of guy my dad is. He's amazing. He sent me this today. Or yesterday he sent it to me, email. He's like, it's 21 years old, but hopefully you can open it. It's actually the breakdown of the commercial spots and the, well, I'll scroll down and show you, and the like minute-to-minute plan for the live 2-hour special. So this is like a generic commercial. I don't know if you can see it or not. It says Red Green Live generic 01. And then this is like the script. So this is, my dad would record these, send them to the PBS stations, and they would use it to promote this event, Red Green Live, that was coming up. So this is a generic one. It says he was really self-deprecating. I think it was pretty new for PBS to do pledges this way. He says stuff like, we're going to show you some stuff that's never been seen before, and we're going to do some things that'll never be seen again. We're talking about 120 minutes of non-stop manly absurdities. So that was the generic one. Then there's like a coming soon one. He said stuff like, it'll be 120 minutes of things that have never been seen on television before, and probably with good reason. If you think like I do, that public television needs to lighten up every once in a while, you won't want to miss this show. It's live, uncut, warts and all, and those are the good parts. So, the style of the humor for these, I think for a PBS station, which usually is about, this is how good the stuff we're offering is, for it to be tongue-in-cheek and self-deprecating, I think was kind of new for PBS. And maybe it's a more common form of humor now, but I think it was pretty original back when this happened. This is the week of commercial. You'll see stuff you've never seen before, and that's a guarantee. Years from now, when you come out of therapy, you'll still be talking about it. Fun stuff. Then here's the script from it's airing tomorrow. Here's the script from it's airing tonight. Pretty crazy stuff. And then also, it says the premiums. I see some of you saying, oh yeah, Red Green 82 says, I think I have every mug offered on the pledge drives. Only show I ever pledged for. That's right. I think the next one, the 1998 one, you got mugs. In this one, they had buttons. It talks about the premiums here. Buttons that say, blame me for Red Green. So if anyone out there has a button that says, blame me for Red Green on it, please send me a picture. I'd love to show that on stream next week. And then here it says, these stations have already said yes. So this was part of the package that went to PBS stations to try to convince them to run it. So we have Sacramento, Rochester, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Cincinnati, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Salt Lake City, huge supporter always of the show, Moline, Peoria, Cleveland, and Iowa Public Television, and many more to come. And then here's like the rundown of the format of the Red Green Live. And you can see, it's kind of how long each segment should take, what's the cumulative time, that will get you to 120 minutes total. And they really were innovative with the stuff. They took, things from the show, word games or experts, and they incorporated public television personalities into those bits. So they wrote new things and had, a connection to those local PBS stations using the bits that people knew from the Red Green Show. Pretty cool stuff, to be honest. So pretty neat that my dad still had that. And he's like, here, you can show this. I was like, thank you. Cypher says, is there an upcoming tour in the U.S.? Not this year, Cypher, but next year, I believe my dad will be touring both the U.S. and Canada. So stay tuned for more information on that. Raslan, that is very Australian humor. Yeah, the self-deprecation, all that stuff. And not afraid to poke fun at other people, too. Sometimes I feel like the sense of humor of self-deprecation is like, well, once I show that I can make fun of myself, then maybe it's more palatable when I poke fun at other things. So my dad poked fun at the Red Green Show with these things, but he also poked fun at public television. And I think people, were more willing to accept that because he had shown he already wasn't taking himself too seriously, which was pretty cool. Okay. I think that's all I really want to say about that. A couple more questions here. Another guy, TN, nice to see you. WKNO in Memphis ran a fundraiser once with the promise that the show would be picked up later, but it didn't come back. No way. Somebody at WKNO lied, but it did show up on WLJT in Lexington, Jackson, Tennessee later. That sucks. That's shady. It's funny about PBS that it's almost kind of like the original streaming in a way. Like the way most streams like on Twitch or whatever work, people subscribe or they donate money if they like what they're seeing. And it's a very direct, source to consumer sort of thing, And if you don't get enough money, then your channel, doesn't exist. And that's kind of what PBS was like, right? People could donate saying, we support this program or whatever. But when that's betrayed, that's sketchy. Cahoso says, hey, Cahoso, nice to see you. Always grateful KVCR San Bernardino not only got Steve to come for a pledge drive, but also another one where Pat, Wayne, and Bob came and did a live word game. That's crazy. Wow. Awesome. I can't wait. My dad and I watch this all the time, and I'm currently a senior in college and just showed him the Twitch. Thank you, Cypher. If any of you are sort of internet savvy, and maybe you watch the show with a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or somebody older than you, please help them try to get on Twitch. Maybe start them on YouTube. That might be easier. They just click on it and watch it. But we'd love to have people of older generation join, and hopefully Twitch, isn't too much of a mountain to climb for people to watch this way. Hey, Suntop, nice to see you. Okay. One last thing I want to say about the season. There are a couple new things. We'll get to that as this episode rolls on. There are 2 new characters in Season 6 that we're not going to see in tonight's episode. But when we get back to Season 6 next time, we'll probably see them. I think one of them is in Episode 2. And those characters are Arnie Dogan, who was the country singing injury-prone roofer. And the other one is Kevin Black, who's kind of like the yuppie from the city who moves up to Possum Lodge. And Kevin Black was played by Paul Gross. Many of you Canadians especially might know Paul Gross from Due South, and did some other things as well. And he upped the handsome factor on our show exponentially, I think, when he came. I think him and Ranger Gord were just fighting for who was the prettiest. But those were the kind of 2 new characters for this season. And like I said, there's a couple not any major changes to the structure of the show, but a couple little things here and there. And we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, let's start the episode. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions before we get started. Crookery says, how much did it cost overall to replace the Possum Band mirror? No, it was the same mirror. We just kept reattaching it, so it didn't cost us much. Arnie Dogan, the Super Dave of country western singing. Exactly. Okay, here we go. Season 6, Episode 1. I hope you enjoy.
It's the new Red Green Show! Come on! And now, here's the man who left his body to science, his wardrobe to history, and his personality to chance. Your hero, my uncle, Red Green!
Save yourselves, you got families. All right. Well, every time this year up at the lodge, the guys start making their own beer, making their own wine. Guess it's just their way of trying to give something back to the system. Now, this is the one fella has made a real interesting batch. Doesn't taste too bad.
Is it wine or is it beer?
Kind of hard to tell, Harold. I'd say it's either a sparkling wine or a light beer.
Well, what does it say on the label?
American Standard. Yeah, well, it's still in the bathtub, right? Yeah. Actually, it's brewing away right now.
The bathtub?
Yeah.
Uncle Red, that's my science experiment from the school science fair.
What?
Yeah, I'm pickling pollywogs.
Oh, come on, Harold. Tastes way too good for that. Besides, why would you put all those olives in there?
Those are the pollywogs.
what you're looking at now is a bunch of segments from this particular show. The main message being, for gosh sakes, don't even think about changing the channel. I'll tell you something, you want to make sense out of this program, you got to give it your undivided attention.
Can't believe you guys. You drank my entire science experiment right out of the tub. Moose licked the ring and ate the plug.
Relax, Harold. You can just make something else.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was the whole ecology of our wetlands, you know? Now I got like 12 lodge members in a belting contest.
If you're smart, you work that into the project. That's marsh gas. I tell you what, Harold. Why don't you and I do a project together, you know, on toxic waste or the ozone layer or something?
Well, we could, but no. You know, thanks. I sort of had my heart set on winning this contest, so. Girls like guys who look like scientists.
Well, that could be, but you look more like an experiment, Harold.
I know what I can do. I'm gonna do it. I'll do like astronomy. That's what I'll do. I'll like grind my own lenses, silver my own mirrors, I'll align the focal planes and make a telescope.
That sounds like fun. I'll get some duct tape.
No. See, adults aren't allowed to help. You either.
All right, fine, Harold. You just grind your Hubble to your heart's content, all right?
Okay.
I'm gonna make my own telescope.
Alrighty.
I think I could be a great astronomer, Harold.
Well, he's always been good at staring off into space.
You know, one of the biggest dangers of having something on television is that people see things and they...
Just wanted to note, this episode is called The Science Fair, and it's about Red helping Harold with his schoolwork. And in a nutshell, this is why I never wanted my dad to help me in high school with anything that I was doing. Okay, back to the show.
And they think they should try them. You know, like blowing up a van or doing something athletic in Bill's case. So he's just going to change his clothes there. I guess he saw this at the Olympics where they have the rings and you... What's that? Oh, Bill, you don't have to change right. What? Oh. Bill, I don't think you need to see that at home. That's your personal business under there. I would no. Oh, it's a shoe. All right. Okay, no, that's fine. Wow, there's a bit of a pong goes on. Anyway, nice figure, fine looking man. And up he goes on there. I'll tell you, what he's finding out is that, you know, some things aren't as easy as they look. Things like being Bill's friend, for example. Like, well, I'll give you a boost up there, Bill. I'm giving you, it's a boost, Bill, it's a boost up. Oh, man. Wow.
Welcome to the Possum Lodge word game, where tonight's grand prize is a weekend for two at the Solitaire Championships. Okay, Uncle Red.
Just wanted to mention as well, this, you may have noticed, this is actually called the Possum Lodge word game now. So this bit was introduced the season before, but it was called 2 on a Match. So this is actually kind of technically sort of the first ever Possum Lodge word game. And you will also notice that this year, for the first time, Harold, when he's introducing the word, he actually says the word. That's because we got a response from a blind viewer who wanted to know what the word was, but before we would just hold up the sign, assuming everyone was seeing it, and the announcer wouldn't say the word. And so this person said, hey, would you mind actually saying it? So that's why we went to the earplugs and Pat actually saying the word out loud, or whoever was hosting it. So that's a couple changes to the word game this season.
Uncle Red, you have 30 seconds to get Mike Hammer to say this word. Father. And go.
All right, Mike, your mother is married to...
Her job. Exotic dancing's her life.
Right, okay. I'm talking about the man who took care of you when you were young was your...
Truant officer.
This is a family member, Mike. The man who slept with your mother.
Could you be more specific?
Okay, growing up with just a mom, you knew you had a...
Curfew.
Another word for daddy.
Lifer.
All right, Mike. If your wife has kids, you'll be...
Long gone.
Whoa. Just like your...
Father.
There we go. This week on Handyman Corner, I'm going to show you how to make a very common joint that you use for building furniture, houses, even wooden cars. It's a 90-degree joint, and all you need is a table saw or a friend who has one. Now, I switched the blade in this thing because this was a special blade, which is used for cutting metal. That's a heck of a job, doesn't it? All right, now, you don't need to horse this thing down or anything. Just finger tight is fine. And then just start her up. All right, I guess I should have used a stronger finger there. But there's a lesson to you youngsters out there. Never compromise safety just because you can't find the wrench. Oh. I wonder if it's still sharp. Yeah. All right, I think we're ready to start cutting now. Here's a little advice for you. Count your fingers before and after every cut, and then you'll know if you should be sifting through the sawdust. And we'll just do this little cut here. Just that easy, basically. She's, all right, well, she didn't actually cut all the way through there, so I guess we'd have to maybe set the blade a little bit higher, or you can set the table a little bit lower. Your choice, really. Oh, no, I know. That ought to do her. Now, here's something else that you can do with a table saw. When you want to cut along the length of a board, that's called ripping. You can just rip right through the board there. It's a lot easier than doing it by hand. It's called ripping. See how I just kind of went ripping out of there? But here's what I wanted to show you today. You know, when you join a couple of pieces of wood in a right angle, a 90-degree angle, sometimes you'll make a joint like that. That's called a butt joint, and frankly, it's kind of butt ugly. So I'm going to show you how to make another kind called a miter joint. Miter, that's a French word. It means not butt, okay? So you're still going to have your 90-degree angle, but you're going to do it with 245s, because you want to have a right angle. Anything else is a wrong angle, which I've proven many times. So all you got to do is set your saw to exactly 45 degrees. We got our two 45-degree angles. We put those together. Put that one over there. And then what you're going to find here, when this all goes together exactly right, is you've got a perfect 90-degree angle. Yeah. What we got to do, we haven't got the angle set just absolutely right on this. Just look at her. My God, she's sensitive. And they're portable. Remember, the women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy. Hey, Buster, I'm done with your table saw. Here it comes back to you. Stay tuned and relax. Whatever this is, we got lots more of it.
All right, just got a couple questions I wanted to catch up on. Thank you for all your interactions. Before we get to this amazing midlife about men asking for directions. Amazing. Rickybus said in some commentary somewhere, your dad made the observation that y'all were lucky that nobody ever got hurt in some of these segments. Yeah, we were. We did a lot of, especially the first few seasons, a lot of stuff that someone could have gotten hurt, and we basically got lucky. There were a couple injuries. My dad broke his nose during an adventure film, and he put a knife through his hand during Duct Tape Forever, the movie. But other than that, considering what could have gone wrong, we did pretty well, I would say. Crookery asked, who is Bernice? Yeah, Bernice is the fictional wife of Red. It's, I guess, kind of a semi-nod to my mom. My mom's actual name is Morag, so he picked sort of odd names. An odd name for Bernice, I guess, and odd name was an odd name that my mom always had. My dad always said people had trouble pronouncing my mom's name, Morag. They would say Morag or Marg. And my dad would always say, it's Morag, as in more aggravation. And they would laugh, and she wouldn't. And it was fantastic. JSA Typhoon said, when Harold got married, was the actress who played his wife Harold's real-life wife? No, that Bonnie was played by another Canadian comic named Laurie Elliott. So not real-life wife. Okay, here we go. Back to the episode.
I need to talk to you ladies to help you understand why we men do some of the things we do. For example, not stopping to ask for directions when we're lost. Okay, primarily, it's a pride thing. We're out there, we're driving around in our own vehicles, burning gas, got the sunglasses on, looking good, you know. People see us going by, would never guess that we have no idea where we are. And we're not real excited about sharing that information. A man does not embrace the concept of going up to total strangers and saying, you may not know this, but I'm a moron. Whereas the woman that he's with is only too happy to share that information. I think it helps to ease her burden a little bit. See, to a woman, getting lost when you're on a trip is just a blameless act of nature. But to a man, it's a sign of personal failure. He knew where he was when he left. He doesn't know where he is now. All right, somewhere along the way, he crossed the line between the world he knows and the world he doesn't know. That's exactly the way he feels about when he got married and when he had kids. So if he admits he's lost in his car, he's going to have to admit he's lost in those other areas as well. That's way too much to ask. So just sit there, bite your tongue, circle the block a couple of times. Men aren't lost, they just take the long way. Remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. I think you're going to win first prize at the school science fair.
Thanks, Uncle Red. I just got a little bit more. I'm going to hook this to a thing.
Yeah, you can't lose with this one, Harold. Huh?
Where'd you get that? From an elephant's proctologist?
Harold, I made this. This is your telescope. You know, I helped you a little bit with it. Like, I did the building part bit. Yeah. But it was your idea, Harold. Well, it was Galileo's idea, but he's dead.
No. Sorry, Uncle Red. You can't help me on this. It's against science fair rules. Besides, I want to win.
Harold, come on, you'll win with this. Take a look. Take a look in the car side mirror there. See? That's out of a Ford Galaxy. That one down there is out of a Comet, and the one inside is out of a Saturn. Ain't very spacey. What do you see, huh?
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What does it say there? Caution, universes may seem closer than they appear. No, you can't help me. I'm doing it by myself.
Oh, come on, Harold. My dad helped me with homework.
Well, that's because you guys were in the same grade. I'm just gonna do it. I'm not even doing like a telescope anymore. I'm doing a crystal radio set. I just got a little bit more soldering to do.
See? I'll get it. I'll get it.
You see, you get it.
Oh, if you see a big fat dog, what?
I just want to interrupt one more time, and I'm kind of bummed it didn't work out, but I told people last week or a few times now, that I think I have my dad's guitar that he used on Smith & Smith, Comedy Mill, and he used on at least some seasons of the Red Green Show for the Campfire songs. Now, I found the guitar. Here it is right here. It was in my basement. But of course, it's not the guitar he's using in tonight's episode, so it's not nearly as impressive. But anyways, if you guys take a look at that guitar, somebody asked me what brand it was. It's an Ibanez or Ibanez. And I don't play guitar. But if you watch closely at certain seasons, I should have got a screenshot or something. This guitar is on the Red Green Show. And sadly, because of my dad's knife injury in Duct Tape Forever, he doesn't play it anymore. So it's in a case in my basement. And if I played the guitar, I would play something for you, but I don't. I do know one small riff, though. See if you guys can name this tune. He looked just like a hog. That's all I know. Okay, let's get back to the real guitar playing.
Waddling down the road. Don't you be too critical of his extra wide load. If you've ever tasted dog food, you gotta tip your hat to an animal who could actually overeat on a diet of crap like that.
My name is Dalton Humphrey, and I'm a man.
Hi, Dalton.
And
Of course, I got to mention this too. First ever Men Anonymous segment. Now, not all of you might know the Men Anonymous segments. They were only around for a couple of seasons. And you may have noticed off the top, one of the main things that Men Anonymous gave us was what became the man's prayer, which many of you know. I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess. That sentiment started as the opening pledge for the Men Anonymous segments, but that didn't start until I think it was next season. So this is the Men Anonymous pre-pledge, which was the pre-man's prayer. Something that the Men Anonymous segment did do, though, was, first of all, I thought they were funny. It was another chance for people in the crowd to come down and be on set, which the live audience always enjoyed. And it gave us a chance to get to know these characters a little bit better as they talked about, when they were a man last. People like Dalton Humphrey, for instance, in this one. So please enjoy first ever Men Anonymous segment, even before the pledge started. Here we go.
It's been 2 weeks since I last acted like a guy. And this week I did something I'm pretty proud of. It's a first for me. I did laundry.
Whoa!
Wash and dry in the whole 9 yards. You know what I realized is that it was the problem was in my head. You know, it was my attitude. You know, if you change your attitude, you know, you can change the whole world. So yes. So, you know, I didn't think about it like as if it was washing clothes. I thought about it like it was restoring clothes. See, refinishing a shirt, renovating a pair of pants. See, it wasn't a chore. This was a project, you know, and I didn't even call it a washer and a dryer, you know, because these were my tools. These are my power tools, my big power tools. So I called them a dirt stripper and a heat turbine. Stand back, kids, Dad's using the heat turbine. You know what? There is no rule that says a washer and a dryer have to be white. Why don't they make them black or brown, you know, like a radial arm saw or a jointer, for heaven's sakes? You know what the upside of all this is? My wife was thrilled. 2 loads of laundry, she's happy, she was friendly. Wow. That's right, and I'm gonna surprise her. I'm surprising her right now by washing all her woolen sweaters. I can't wait to see the look on her face when I pull those babies out of the dryer. That's gonna be something.
Well, here we are back with Adventures with Bill. He got to warm up a little later, and he's ready to go there. Got the chalk. Well, it's not chalk really, that's just flour, and you don't need a lot of that, Bill. You don't need a lot of, you don't... For instance, you don't need that much. Anyway, I'm not gonna try and boost him up again. He's gonna go up there on the oil drum and just pull himself up into the. This is gonna take a lot of strength here. Wow. Boy, oh boy, I'm impressed with that. You know, sometimes I think, yeah, he is too, but I think Bill's an idiot who can't do anything. And then I realize I'm wrong. He's just an idiot. Well, there he is, upside down. Look at the power there, folks. There's something. You don't see that every day in the week, and I think it's a good thing, especially around mealtime. All right, and back down he goes. Oh, my gosh. What are those noises? I think Bill's back isn't what he used to. Oh, look at that. Look at that, kind of an Egyptian, kind of an upside down. Oh, boy. This is, I'm getting a display here, and so are you. And what now, Bill? What? Oh, my gosh. Let's hear it for the boy. What, the other arm? Oh my gosh, he's ambidextrous. Well, by golly, that's got to be hard in the arm, isn't it, Bill? Be hard in the arm. Oh. And now Bill learns about gravity. Oh, my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Lord of the Rings. Here's a red-green sign sent to us by a viewer. We're not the only crazy ones. Good news, Harold. This crystal radio is going to win your first prize at the science fair. Congratulations and good work.
Good work?
Yeah.
You built the whole thing.
Don't.
What?
Don't touch it. I won't. You don't know how it works, okay? Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. We get to the school, I'll explain everything about it, okay? There's a good boy.
I cannot enter something into the science fair that you built. Or have you not been listening the first 9 times I said that to you? I'm going to do my own project. It's about sex.
Oh, Harold. Sex. I can't help you there. You're on your own. Of course, you're used to that, aren't you?
I'm going to do a frank and explicit look at the germination of soybeans. Without the meddling of an adult.
Well, okay, Harold, but you should know that Buster Hadfield is helping his son making an atom-smashing nuclear accelerator cyclotron out of an old TV set and a weed whacker.
Well, I don't care. I'm going to do things my way.
Well, fine. I'm going to enter this crystal radio in the science fair myself.
Okay, well, Uncle Red, the science fair is only open to high school students.
I never graduated.
It's now time to feature those 3 little words that men find so hard to say. I don't know! Okay, now, and to join my Uncle Red on the expert portion of the program is this
Just wanted to come in once again. Sorry to keep interrupting, but this segment is an experts where Hap Shaughnessy, who I love, great character, talks about basketball and its origins. And I just thought it was funny because here we are all these years later, and my dad, as Red Green, has written a book called Red Green's Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda Guide to Canadian Inventions. And in that book, you can find really sort of how basketball was invented. And look how we've come full circle 21 years later. So for the Hap version, you can keep listening. And also, I did co-write that book with my dad, so it's at least some of it is funny. Okay, the parts he wrote. Anyways, here we go.
his best friend in the whole wide room, Mr. Hap Shaughnessy. Dear experts, is it true that basketball was invented by a Canadian?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. Basketball was invented by a Canadian, but he was living in the United States at the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was in the States. But I didn't give up my Canadian citizenship. No, I was down there doing some hush-hush work for the CIA, as was then known as Teddy's Rough Riders. They wanted me to come up with some sort of cover story as to what I did for a living, and I said, sports inventor. And to make the cover a bit more convincing, of course, wouldn't you know,
Yeah.
I had to invent a sport. I sure didn't expect that darn game to catch on.
Hap, you don't expect us to believe that, do you?
Well...
Huh?
You got me there, No, that wasn't true. No, I sure did expect that darn game to catch on.
Mr. Shaughnessy, out of all the history books I've ever read, all of them, they say the Canadian was Mr. James Naismith.
James Naismith. Yeah, that was my CIA cover name.
Funny you never mentioned that, Hap. You know, it's not like you to hold back.
Well, I know, Red, but all my spy work was top secret, you know. The only reason I can mention this now is because Franco is dead. And Spain is no longer a threat to world peace.
I'm finding this very hard to believe.
That's because you're listening.
I'm telling you, I invented basketball.
Oh, yeah. Hoop dreams.
No. Maybe Hap's right. Remember that time he was up on the drunk and disorderly? Huh? Dribbling all over the court? Science fair was fun, I'll tell you. Whose project exploded there, Harold?
I can't hear you over the ringing.
I'm saying whose project exploded?
You mean the first time?
Yeah.
The one beside us.
Yeah. This side. Yeah. My golly. Sorry you didn't win, Harold.
Well, that's okay. I escaped with my life. That's the main thing.
Who won the first prize, anyway?
Well, Sticky Peterson has the trophy.
Yeah.
Well, doctors say they can get that removed. The actual winner was Andrea McClintock. The judges said her entry of fire extinguishers was rather timely.
But Harold, I heard your project made it to the finals over in Port Asbestos.
No.
Oh.
That's just where most of the pieces landed. I don't hear it, but it's got to be time for the lodge meeting.
Harold, I'm thinking it's probably time for the lodge meeting. Why don't you go ahead?
Lodge meeting!
Maybe just some fries. Why don't you go to the lodge meeting?
I'm just gonna go to lodge meeting.
Well, I couldn't care less where you go. Lodge meeting.
Lodge meeting! Oh, Uncle Red.
Now, my wife is watching. I learned today that there are some things that man should not know. I'm hoping you're not one of them. I'll be coming straight home after the meeting as soon as the smoldering goes down in my pants. And to the rest of you, on behalf of myself and I guess he's gone to the lodge meeting, Harold, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your stick on the ice.
Red Green box sets are now available on DVD for $99.99 each plus shipping at acornonline.com/RG or call 800-929-3759.
Boy, this is too much.
Alrighty. That was quite a good episode. I enjoyed that very much. The Spoo says, how often did the cast and crew break into laughing during filming? They made themselves laugh pretty good. You can see it in their eyes sometimes. Every once in a while, somebody gets somebody. It's one of my favorite things to see when I watch these old episodes. Is especially I feel like Harold. He would in rehearsal he would do it a certain way. And then when the cameras were going and the live audience was there, you know, Pat McKenna was a very seasoned live performer. Well, my dad was too, actually. My dad was in a band for a long time, and he knew what it felt like to be in front of a live audience. But Pat McKenna I felt like he was a special guy when the audience was there watching. And he would turn it up to 11, you know. He would do an extra laugh or an extra movement that he would hide in rehearsal. so that in the moment of the actual recording, it would just get everybody going. We used to, the first couple seasons at CHCH, before the crew really even knew what this show was, we used to have to redo takes because the cameraman would be shaking, laughing so hard. Partly because it was so funny, and also I think partly because they were just so surprised by the type of humor and the kinds of things that were happening in front of them. They just weren't used to that. Like, no one had really done something like this before. So it was definitely a set that had a lot of laughs. Jalen Jade says, so who was Acorn for you guys? Was that just distributor? Yes, it was. Acorn was a distributor of our video. I think it was initially just videos. And they got bought out by somebody, and they got bought by somebody, and so I don't even know what happens if you phone that phone number anymore or go to that website. Red Green 82 says, was it Jeff Lumby in season 5 who would talk about the number and website at the end? It sounds like his real voice. Yeah, Jeff Lumby was a radio guy before he became Winston Rothschild on our show, and he had lots of different voices that he did, and kind of a good voice, for radio, a good face for radio as well, some might say, but an excellent mullet for TV. And so yes, he was the guy initially for that website commercial, but then we went with somebody else after that. Saint says, I asked Max about bloopers. He said there is a reel of some, but not digital. I told him to make it digital and show it. That would be funny. I didn't even know that existed. When are you going to put the DVDs on Blu-ray? I don't know. The technical stuff, that's Max's department. I'll tell him, put it on Blu-ray, and he'll be like, what are you talking about? Okay, we're going to do a giveaway tonight. Thank you all for hanging out and watching. I hope you enjoyed Season 6, Episode 1. But we're going to do a giveaway tonight. I found another one of these. I thought in honor of the first Men Anonymous segment, even though it wasn't technically a part of the episode, because it doesn't come until next year, I thought I'd give this. I gave one of these out before. I found these at my house. We used to sell these at the store a million years ago. You can't find them anymore. It says 2003 on the little thing. We don't even make them anymore, but I found a couple of them at my house in a box. It is like a yellow kind of like street sign, and it has the man's prayer on it. I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess. I've only given away one of these before. I don't have too many of them, so I'm not going to be giving them away too much. But I thought the first time we showed the Men Anonymous segment, that's going to be a night that we give away the sign. So that's what we're going to do. So if you would like a shot at winning that, everyone has a chance. We're that's how we do things around here. I got my Nightbot up. We're going to do this giveaway. Subscribers, your luck is times 10. So if you're a subscriber to the channel, you have 10 times the chance of winning it. And this is based on a keyword. So if you would like to win, wait a sec, I don't want to put pick. This is a sign. If you want to win, everyone, if you could type sign into chat, SIGN. It doesn't have to be a capital. It doesn't matter if the first, one letter is capital, if they're all small. And hopefully, as you type in sign, this actually works, because that would be quite something. Everybody's typing sign, which is good. Oh yeah, it's working. Okay. Our eligible users have gone up. Whoever does win this as well, please stick around in chat after the stream ends. And I will make sure to whisper you and get your address and stuff so I can mail this out to you. Yeah, you guys are doing it. You guys are spelling it. Did someone put cosine, Kiefer? There's always somebody. Kiefer. MDS 1041 says, screw that. I want that 10 times chance. I hope you win now, MDS. I hope you win with that last minute sub. I hope it gives you great luck. Okay. We're doing good. Jackadak. I like that. The N at the end. Tangent. Damo. For crying out loud. Okay. Give us another 20 seconds. I still see some signs coming in. This is rigged. ATF. Okay. All right, we're going to roll it in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And our winner is Monkey with Keys. Monkey with Keys has won the giveaway. How is the timing of the roll with my 10 countdown? Was that better? Congrats, Monkey. Good for you. Well done. Okay. Okay. So if you could stick around, Monkey with Keys, and, make sure to get your address, and I will be sending out this lovely man's prayer sign to you, and I hope you can enjoy that. If you want me to autograph it and devalue it, I will. But if not, I'll just send it as is, which you would likely prefer, but whatever. If I don't win, I'm reporting the channel. Banned. This is how he picks his victims. Send me your address. All right. If anyone had any questions that I didn't get to, I apologize. Go ahead and ask them now. It's 10:08. I'll probably hang out for another 7 or 8 minutes if people want to hang out, ask me some questions, or just chat. Otherwise, we'll be shutting her down a little bit after that. So you'll be the second ban ever. Do you guys remember our first ban, Chad Hawk? I still think of Chad Hawk every once in a while. I miss that guy. To all who didn't win, simply watch all the Handyman Corner segments to gain enough knowledge to make your own. Exactly.
Let's fire her up.
You could make a beautiful sign all on your own. But, yeah. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Nice. I saw somebody put in chat about the D&D thing with my dad, like the red-green character D&D model, that it displays the difference between intelligence and wisdom. Someone wants to explain to me the mechanic, but what's the difference between wisdom and intelligence in those games? I'd like to know, because I never seem to figure that out. Is that European or African? I don't know. He put in that text image, right? What text image are you talking about, Saints? If I was Monkey with Keys, I would ask you if you could get your dad to sign the sign. That would be awesome. My dad's not around for the next few weeks. So Monkey with Keys, if you want to wait a couple weeks, I probably could get my dad to sign that for you. Man, I want to get banned blocked by Red Green. It would go well with me being blocked by Tom Green on Twitter. Double green ban. How did you get... Maybe I don't want to ask this, but how did you get blocked by Tom Green? Oh, the guy you first banned. That's right. The text image, Saints. I remember that now. Anyone banned will forever be known as a Season 2 Lodge member. De facto. That was cold, man. That was cold. I have no idea, man. Tom Green must hate me. I don't know if Tom Green would even think about you unless you were doing something really trolly on his Twitter. But Tom Green seems to me like the kind of guy who likes, like, joking, like, like whatever. I think you have to do something. Thank you for hosting this. I used to watch this show all the time as a kid growing up. Stumbled upon this Twitch stream a few weeks ago. Now my wife and I always watch when the channel is on. She loves it. Mr. Little Small, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I'm glad you're able to enjoy it and be able to maybe sort of remind you of watching the show as a younger person, and you can enjoy it with your wife now. That's awesome. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. That will give me time to get some fresh duct tape to stick it to the wall. Nice, Monkey. All right, so Monkey, yeah, stick around and I'll get your info. But if you'd like to wait, I'll get my dad to. The thing is, it is like kind of a sheen sort of plastic. So I think the best bet is probably a Sharpie. But I'm almost wondering maybe he should put a strip of duct tape underneath the words and sign that, because it probably might not, the marker might not last on this plastic very well. So maybe I'll get him to put a piece of duct tape on it, and then he'll sign the duct tape. That might last you a little bit longer. Cat's favorite bed says, I watched WXXI in Rochester when he would come for fun drives. Pledge too much and have wife retract it. Nice. So you're the reason why we would try to get Rochester, and then they would say yes, and they would say, actually, no, we don't have enough money. That was you. Okay, sweet. It does look like a baby on board sign, doesn't it, Ricky Miss? You should hang this on the back of like your van, you know? Right? That would be crazy. Yeah, you got to frame it. Absolutely. Ricky Biss says, I can't believe all these young folks like this show. I figured it was for old farts like me, right? We seem to have a lot of folks come into channel who watched with someone, right? They watched with a dad or a mom or an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent, and coming on here on Twitch kind of reminds them of that. And it's pretty cool. The show is not particularly time sensitive. There's not a lot of like pop culture references in it. So it's sort of timeless, I guess, in a way. And beards are back. I don't know if you guys noticed, but everybody has a beard now, except for me. I have the slot for hazardous materials on my truck. That sign would be perfect. Nice, Richard. Nice. Moomba 8. There's a woman's prayer version on eBay. Really? What's the woman's prayer? Did we do that on our show? It kind of rings a bell with me. Or did someone else just do their own thing? What's the woman's prayer? I feel like I've heard that before. No way. It's going on the purple room wall. I watched this show with my Sunsai on break behind the pizzeria. Nice, bromains. I'm 23 and watching the show as long as I can remember. Cypher, that's crazy, man. That's awesome. 23. So you were born in 1995, if my math is correct, or thereabouts. So you were born a year before this season that we just watched, that episode came out. That's insane. Shaggy says, I have a Ranger tug loaded that I'm delivering to Lefroy, Ontario, north of Toronto. Wow, how far is Lefroy from Toronto, Shaggy? That's a trek. Yeah, anyone else who enjoys audiobooks, we have an audiobook version of the Red, Green, Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda Guide to Canadian Inventions. That's what Shaggy can listen to in his truck. And we're actually going back as well, so you can buy that. But right now, my dad is recording previous books, Beginner's Guide to Women, How to Do Everything, whatever his other books have been, recording those as audiobook formats. So they'll be available as well. And Shaggy, if you remind me, I'll make sure you get a copy of those, man. Rickybiss says, your dad addressed the old guy hair thing in a show. Something about gravity and hair coming out alternate routes. Yeah, it starts up here. My feet have tons of hair on them. I have like hobbit feet. I'm a woman. I'm woman. Hear me roar. I'm in charge. Get used to it. Yeah, that sounds about right. He's a man. He'll never change, no matter what. So help me God. I've never heard that one. That must be something on Pinterest. Somebody knitted that or something. I used to watch with friends. We take a drink every time Harold laughed. Great way to start a Saturday night. I think there's a few drinking games you could play with our show. Definitely. Any weebs in chat? I don't know what that means. I'm too old, maybe. Yeah, more audiobooks. We just need Pat to narrate Harold's Guide to Women. Oh, man. That would be amazing. Actually, if you get the Red, Green, Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda Guide to Canadian Inventions, the audiobook, you will hear my lovely dulcet tones as I co-read it with my dad. My dad voices all the red commentary, so all the good, funny parts, and he let me narrate all the kind of boring, factual stuff about the inventions. But at least I got on there, right? It's better than nothing. And it was fun. We recorded it in a tiny room, yelling at every bird or plane that would pass by and make a sound right when we were at the end of a take. Because my dad didn't want to drive in Toronto to do it in a studio. We don't need to see the feet. Just say you're wearing slippers. Yeah, people think they're slippers even when they're not. Red and Green Show is the anime of a generation, a true masterpiece. That's very kind. Or Reg and Green. What the heck is Reg and Green? What are you talking about? Anime. What's everybody talking about? We want a Possumopoly? Oh my gosh, Saints. Possumopoly. I remember that. We sold that for about 2 weeks. It's kind of fun, though, having all the Possum Lodge locations on the Monopoly board. Oh, you're talking about the Ranger Gord animated segments. Is that what you guys are talking about? Those Ranger Gord animated segments are out of this world nutty. I loved them. Speaking of anime, Corner Gas is getting an anime series. Yeah, apparently Corner Gas has a cartoon version now. And it was like the most watched pilot animated series something. It broke some records. So that's awesome. Awesome to see. Shaggy says Lefroy is south of Barrie. Okay, so that's not too bad. I mean, it's still... I don't know if you're going there right now, but it's still a bit wintry out here. But south of Barrie is not crazy, at least. When will the Red Green Show Japanese audio ing sub come out? I don't know what any of those things mean. Those were a trip, weren't they? Yeah, they were. I still remember the first time we showed those in front of a live audience, and people were kind of like, we don't know how to react to these. But then they grew on us. You can get a copy of Possumopoly on eBay right now for the low price of $70. Dang. We should print a few more of those off. Sell them for $60. Undercut those eBay vultures. You're hauling a boat from Auburn? Holy cow. Red, Green, and Corner Gas, the two best shows to come out of Canada. That's nice of you to say, Thaddeus. Does anyone know, has Corner Gas been on PBS? Any of you guys here from PBS stations, have there been any other Canadian shows that have been on down there? Like, I remember when we went to CBC, the Air Farce was big on CBC, and I thought we had some discussions about them maybe trying to get on PBS, but I can't remember if that happened or not. I would have thought like Corner Gas as well would have maybe made sense on some PBS stations, and maybe they'd be more receptive to it after Red Green got on down there. I don't know. I wouldn't sell mine unless you gave me $1 million. Nice. I'm pretty sure the Hap inventing basketball story isn't canon. Yeah, I'm not sure it is. Rassilon, Corner Gas was in Australia. No way. Corner Gas was on WGN for a while? Okay. Huh. Huh. But no one saw Air Farce on it, eh? Huh. That's crazy. No Corner Gas in New England? Okay. Never heard of Corner Gas, Kiefer? Okay. Yeah, it was a pretty popular Canadian show, and it ended, and now it's and now it has like a cartoon kind of version. Basically, we tried to do that after Red Green with a show called Planet Harold, an animated series around the Harold character about him going to high school and being a cartoon. But ultimately, nobody thought it was a good enough idea to put money into it, so it didn't happen. But we tried. And if I can get my hands, we made like I don't know if it was like a minute or a minute and a half demo with a studio in Toronto that did 3D animation. And I thought it was really good. But I was involved with it, so I may be slightly biased. But whether it was good or not good, I'd love to show it on stream sometime so you guys can take a look at the failed attempt at a Harold cartoon. Yeah, Jeffrey, there's a Corner Gas cartoon. I'm pretty sure it's come out already, and I thought I read something on the internet about it being like a record-breaking series premiere. Yeah, Pancreatic, we got a lot of shows that are technically Canadian. Actually, if any of you guys watch the Handmaid's Tale, it's filmed in Hamilton, right near my parents, actually. So they're always closing down the street and causing all kinds of trouble over there. SCTV was Canadian. And SCTV is one of my favorite shows growing up. Used to love that show, love the characters. You know, man, SCTV. Some good memories of SCTV. Do you wear the Possum socks every day? No, but I do have a pair, and they're amazing. Bromains too. You can get you can get them, and they have, I don't know if you've seen them, but they have specifically, this one's the right one, this one's the left one, which I've never had socks that were that bossy. But there's some good socks. I'm not gonna lie. Red Green cameo on Handmaid's Tale? Yeah, that would be pretty awkward, I would think. There was a Harold-like character voiced by Patrick McKenna on the Sam and Max cartoon. Lorne. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, Don't Call Me Late for Dinner. I think it's just one of the locations, so it's possible they also shoot some of it in Cambridge. Hamilton and Toronto to a degree. And other Canadians like Montreal, Vancouver, a lot of times are, it's cheaper for American, production companies to come up here and shoot, have, extras, Canadian extras are cheaper and all that stuff. And they can have it look like a big city, So often when I'm not often, but every once in a while when I'm driving around Hamilton, there'll be streets shut down because they're filming a police chase or something, and it's supposed to be in Chicago or something else. I remember watching a movie, I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was set in New York, and I'm watching it, this guy's walking down the city street, and a bus goes by, and it has a big Canadian flag on it. It's like obviously a Toronto bus, and it's just like, you guys aren't even trying. Is it Rick Moranis' birthday today, Cahoso? That's crazy. I didn't know it was Rick Moranis' birthday. Haha, I get it. Lauren Green. Oh, nice. What is Rick Green doing these days, Kiefer? He's really involved in that Totally ADD thing that he's been up to. Yeah, you can check him out, totallyadd.com. We're hoping to get him on stream sometime, though, when we do like an adventure marathon or something. We can get him on here and him chatting. My friend's mom says Red Green Show makes Canadians look dumb. Thoughts? It's a comedy, so yeah, I wouldn't take it too seriously. That's what I would say. Red Green, are you a fan of Toronto FC? I am now. I got to be honest, I'm not a huge soccer fan. So, growing up for me, it was all about basketball and some hockey. Obviously, got to be a hockey fan. But for me, basketball was always the thing that I loved. But I've gotten into soccer a little bit more. My son is huge into soccer. And so, we've been watching more sports together as he's getting older. So became a Toronto FC fan over the last few years. Went to a game, which was nuts. And obviously, them having 2 seasons in a row of amazing seasons, really got a lot of people like me who are just sort of fringe fans of the sport kind of on board. So, yeah, I can't say I'm a real true fan the way the real diehards were, people who liked the team when they were terrible. They just lost that CONCACAF game, though, right? Last night? That was rough. Yeah, sorry you can't link Rickubus. Yeah, we have our... we're trying to keep chat sort of on the same content level as the show was, pretty PG, which I know on Twitch, most chats, there's a little more anything goes. But we have our mod thing on pretty strict. We don't want people, showing up here, maybe watching with a kid or whatever, and seeing stuff that, that they wouldn't be expecting to see. Is Red Green / Red Green Jr. a CFL fan? Yeah, I got my... I should bring it down. Next week on stream, Jeffrey, I will bring down something to confirm to you the answer to that question. I'll bring it down. I'll have to remember. I got something to show you. Keep chat pretty great. Exactly. Not too great, sort of like pretty great. Go Riders. Is it the Rough Riders or the Rough Riders? Or the Rough Riders? Go Rough Riders. Great reference, an acronym for the Red Green movie used as the giveaway code. That was, yeah. That was the most R-rated we've ever gotten, de facto. When Nightbot refused me. When I go to deliver that boat in Lefroy, I'll most likely run up there in the middle of the night to be there and ready first thing in the morning. Oh, okay. The Riff Ruffers. Blue Bombers. Really? The Peg. The Peg. So, Jeffrey, are you a Jets fan as well? Like, are you a Winnipeg guy or just the Blue Bombers for some reason? Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Nice. I got a tweet from someone about a Saskatchewan city worker duct taping like a city light, like fixing it with duct tape today. So next week I'm going to show that on stream. You're a rural Manitoba, but yeah, you're a Jorts fan? Nice. And Miss Toronto Rush Hour. Smart, Shaggy. Yeah. I learned a new acronym on movie nights. You're welcome, parents watching with their kids, when I said DTF. It was Duct Tape Forever, okay? I didn't watch Jersey Shore. All right, folks. Thank you all for hanging out. I'm going to call it there. It's almost 10:30. So I only have 6 or 7 more hours to stay up and watch Netflix. Hope you guys had a good time. Thank you for hanging out. And once again, Monkey, if you stick around and chat, I'll make sure to get that address and get you sent out your brand new Man's Prayer sign in a few weeks after I get it autographed. Thank you all for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. And we will see you next Tuesday for Season 9. Next Wednesday night will be me once again on stream doing Season 7, Episode 1, and Thursday next week as well, a block of episodes. Thank you all for being here, hanging out, asking your questions, making your funny comments. You guys are a blast. Appreciate it. And we will see you later.